Hello everyone, let's talk about how Jose Rizal and Josephine Bracken met. But first, let's talk about Jose Rizal. Jose Rizal, a famous poet, a philosopher, the national hero of the Philippines. Born in Calamba on July 19, 1861, si Jose Rizal ay pangpitong anak nina Francisco Mercado at Teodora Alonso. Jose Rizal studied medicine, agriculture, surveying, and philosophy and letters in Santo Tomas in Manila. But Jose Rizal went to Spain to further his studies of medicine in Universidad Central de Madrid. He studied medicine, specialized in ophthalmologist, where his reason why he studied medicine is to cure her mother's eye that is endangered of being blind. At that time, Rizal finished his studies. He started curing people with eye diseases all around the world, including his mother. At that time, Rizal was popular in Lapitan because of being a great doctor. There was this man who is one of his patients named George Stauffer. George Stauffer was one of his patients at that time when Rizal met his last love of his life, Josephine Bracken, an adopted daughter of George Stauffer. This is the start of the love story between Jose Rizal and Josephine Bracken. But now, let's talk about Josephine Bracken, whose real name is Marie Josephine Bracken. Was born on October 3, 1876 and was a British national. Josephine Bracken's real parents were James Bracken and her mother Elizabeth Jane McBride. After her mother died shortly after childbirth, her father gave her up for adoption. She was taken in by her godfather, the American George Stauffer. Josephine was a petite girl with bold blue eyes, brown hair, and happy disposition. Dahil sa angking ganda ni Josephine, mabilis na nahulog si Jose sa kanya. They said that it was love at first sight. At dahil dito, si Josephine ay nahulog na din kay Jose dahil sa angking galing sa paggagamot at isang matipunong tao, si Jose. Nagkita si Josephine at Jose dahil dinala ni Josephine ang kanyang amain na si George kay Jose Rizal upang ipagamot ang sakit nito sa mata. Pagkatapos gamutin ni Jose ang kanyang ama na si George, ay bumalik ito sa Hong Kong. Despite Josephine was at Manila, accompanying his godfather back to Hong Kong, she decided to go back in Dapitan as she was deeply in love with Jose. George Stauffer vehemently opposed the union, but finally listened to reason. At this time, Josephine was a common law wife of Jose. But Jose's mother, Teodora, suggested a civil marriage between them. Rizal's family was not that kind for Josephine because his family doubts the identity of Josephine. The family of Rizal thought that Josephine was a spy sent by the Spaniard to bring down Jose Rizal. Nevertheless, Rizal and Bracken lived together as husband and wife in Barangay Talisay, Dapitan, Zamboanga del Norte, beginning in July 1895. The couple had a son, Francisco Rizal A. Bracken, who was born prematurely and died within a few hours from birth. Rizal's execution on December 30, 1896 on charges of treason, rebellion, and sedition by the Spanish government. Josephine Bracken and Jose Rizal were married to each other an hour before the execution of Jose Rizal. Their marriage were held at the Fort Santiago where Jose Rizal is held as captive. But lately, some sectors say that their marriage is not legit as there were no records found attesting to the union. After the death of Jose Rizal, Josephine Bracken joined a revolutionary force in Cavite helping the wounded and sick soldiers. But lately, Bracken returned to Hong Kong because of the threat of the Spanish to torture her and imprisonment if she will not leave the country. In later life of Josephine, she returned to Hong Kong and once lived in her father's house. She married a man named Vicente Abad who was a Cebuano. Bracken died of tuberculosis on March 15, 1902 in Hong Kong. And that's it on how Jose Rizal met his last love of his life, Josephine Bracken.